Good evening, fellow entrepreneurs, small business owners, and side hustlers. I'm Letlhogonolo and welcome once again to another awesome episode of the Business Forecast. That's right, it's the Entrepreneurs Podcast. It's the show that gives you access to a wide range of experts and specialists that are here to help you with practical lessons on how you can get your business to the next level. On top of that, we actually promote your businesses for free. Every week, we've got 10 businesses that we are promoting and trying to get people to buy from you. And lastly, we help connect you to a wide range of opportunities that you might need for your business. For example, funding or ESD or any other opportunities that can actually help your business. We are here to help you get connected to them. Why? Because this is what we are all about, small business success. We have created a platform where we as small business owners can come together, knock on the doors we need to knock on, seek the opportunities that we need to seek. And because we are coming together and we're a large group, we are able to be more attractive and more effective in doing that. This is what we are about as the Business Forecast, and we are so glad that you are here joining us once again. Now, the past few weeks, we've had awesome episodes, and today is going to be another awesome episode. First week, we spoke about how to position your business for success. Then we spoke about how your business can actually start to access funding. And today, we have an awesome topic, an important topic if you want to grow your small business. And that is the topic of branding, how to build a trusted brand. Now, a lot of us, we get into a trap of, we start our business, we've got our product, we've got our service, and we think that people are just going to come through and buy from us. We actually miss the importance of building a brand, and we forget that people actually buy from, places where they trust, they buy from places where they can relate to. And this is where a brand comes in, right? You've got your product, you've got your service, but a brand is like the face of your business that actually relates to the people you're trying to get to. A brand is the thing that says to the people, you can come to us and we're going to give you good service. You can come to us and we're going to solve your problem. And sometimes we skip over the brand part and we wonder why we're not getting these customers. You look at your established brands like Nike, they don't even need to do that much advertising anymore because we associate their product with quality. And that's called branding, right? And as small business owners, we need to learn how to build our brands. And here to help us today is an entrepreneur who's an expert at building a brand. I am, of course, talking about Letlhogonolo Motseeng, the founder and CEO of Moja Chicken. In just a few years, he has built his company to be such a trusted brand in the fast food industry, and is here to help us all up, help us with that, tell us all about it, and tell us about how we can actually start using the same sorts of things that he used in order to get our brands established. So I want you guys to get ready, get excited. We are about to be blown away with a world-class entrepreneur with us here today. So please help me welcome to the show today, Mr. Letlhogonolo Motseeng. Oh, welcome, Mr. Letlhogonolo, and thank you so much for joining us on our show. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today. And just before I give you time to talk, I just want to tell the people a bit more about you so they know who they are hearing from. So, as I said, Letlhogonolo Motseeng is a proficient and a successful restaurant entrepreneur. He is the CEO and founder of a franchise business called Moja Chicken. Now, Moja Chicken is one of the fastest growing fast food brands in the country. They started it as a container restaurant in Soweto, but now they've expanded. Last time I checked, they had about 5 branches, or rather 5 franchises that were operational, and they had over 40 employees, and their revenue, I'm not sure if he'd want us to share about that, but their revenue per year is out of this world. And they established their business in, the operation started in 2019, but already they are so big, they're growing so massively and so quickly, and you can't get there without establishing a good brand. If you know anything about franchising, you know that franchising needs you to have a solid brand, because a person is basically leveraging of your an established brand so that they can sell their products quickly. So the fact that they've already started all these franchises says everything you need to know about their branding. So yes, Mr. Letlhogonolo, this is you. You're with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Mr. Flatwright, thank you so much, and the viewers, thank you so much for the opportunity. And firstly, I would like to apologize for the lighting. I can see it's bad. I really apologize for that. But yeah, thank you so much for the invite, sir, and thank you so much for your patience.
No, no, thank you, thank you. It's an honor to have you here. I've been watching some of your interviews online, and I'm always so blown away about how you've got so much knowledge to share, and you're always ready to just share it. You share on various kinds of topics. But today we just want you to help us when it comes to this branding issue, because I really believe that you've established such a strong brand for your business, and I'm sure our listeners will you will relish the information that you have for us today. But before we get into the questions that we have for you today, maybe you can tell us a bit more about yourself, a bit more about your entrepreneurship journey, and how it is that you ended up where you are right now.
Okay. Letlhogonolo Motseeng, I was born and raised in Taung village. That's in the Northwest Province, in 1987. So yeah, I was raised by a single mother, together with my grandmother. Both of them are now late. May their souls rest in peace. So yeah, I think for me, as an entrepreneur. Obviously, I wasn't sure what I was doing at that time, but then this journey started off when I was 11 years old. I remember, so my mom was a domestic worker here in Johannesburg, so she would come home once a month for the weekend. So every time when she leaves, she would leave me with a 5 rand or 10 rand. So I remember this other day when she came home and then it was time for her to leave. It was on a Sunday. She gave me a 10 rand. Obviously, coming from a very uh, poor background in terms of the family, the village itself, the community, um, it's tough for you to make it out, you know. But all you have to do is just to stay focused and have dreams, goals, and just keep
Mm,
on dreaming and definitely making sure that you act. So I was 11 years old when my mother gave me a 10 rand. This is all true story. I don't manufacture any of my stories because I wanna tell authentic stories, and which is obviously most of them are my experience, my past experience, and
mm,
current experience, of course. So with that 10 rand, I went on because she came on a Friday. She left on a Sunday. She gave me the 10 rand on a Sunday. So on Monday when I went back to school, I remember I asked the principal at that time to if I could be one of the boys. Actually, the first boy to sell sweets in the school, and she gave me that go ahead. So I took the 10 rand. I went to buy a packet of sweets. It was 8 rand at that time. I still remember even the type of sweets that I bought, and they were very popular at that time. So obviously within our community, we didn't have like a cash and carry or a wholesaler. So I had to walk about 8 kilometers, 16 kilometers in total. I walked 16 kilometers just to go and buy one pack of sweets, and then I started selling from school. It took me 2 days to finish the first pack, and then I went back. I bought two packs, um, and so forth and so forth. And then I think on my third week, that's when I started now thinking of. I'm 11 years old, mind you, so that's when I started thinking of uh, uh, using other boys from other schools. So I remember I had like 5 boys, 4 or 5. I can't remember the exact number, but I had boys in other schools within the community who were selling for me.
sure.
So every day after school, we would meet up at a certain spot. Then we cash up. They give me the money. Then I pay them. Can't remember if I was paying them 20 cent or 30 cent or 50 cent, but yeah, I was just paying them something between
Wow.
20 and 50 cent. That went on for like 6 months. Then I started introducing the biscuits. I started introducing knickknacks. And then because at home we are on a not the busiest street or the main road, but then most kids who goes to school, some of them they most of them they walk past my house. So I started now thinking of selling from home as well, from school. Then I would sell at home as well after school, and obviously at church on Sundays. Um, the main reason for me to have to start that at that age was not because I thought I was an entrepreneur or I knew anything about entrepreneurship. Of course, no. I only did that because I wanted to assist my grandmother at that time, because we would go days without food. We would go days without. We would literally eat papa and water, papa and beef stock, or papa and cooking oil, or pap and peanuts. It was tough. So for me, it was just a way of trying to help to chip in at home and assist Omagogo, so that we could, we could at least once a while eat pap and tin fish or something better. So yeah, it was just mainly for that. So it was when I was 11 years old, and obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just selling because I wanted to help to provide at home. So after a year, the business collapsed, which, well, obviously, I also let go of it because I just didn't know. When you're still young, you don't have the resilience in you. Even if you have it, it will be to a certain level. So I just didn't know if an entrepreneur can fall and come back again. I was like, okay, then I let go of the business. That was it. I was still in primary. Then I moved to high school. In high school, I didn't even sell anything. Funny enough, in high school, I didn't sell anything until I finished my matric in 2005. So when I was doing matric, I used to uh, every day after school, I would work at this public phones. So after matric, I came to Joburg. That was my dream. My dream was just to finish school and come to Joburg, to pursue my actual dreams now. So 2 3 years later, when I came to Joburg, I hustled. Then I managed to buy that same container, Vodacom container, or the public phones that I used to work at when I was still in matric. I bought the same one, and then I owned that. Then I started selling uh, grilled chicken feet at the Shebins. And then I started selling amakota, fat cakes, and all of that. And then I started selling T-shirts as well. That was around 2010, 11, 12. And then from there, I just left everything again. I continued. I focused on music. Because I was still coming to Joburg. Actually, my dream was just to pursue the music career, which I did. And I was still pursuing the music career as well. Then 2012, that's when I decided to just focus fully on pushing the music career. Yeah, until 2017. Um, I stopped music in 2015. Then 2017, I decided to register my very first company, which is the cleaning business. I registered the cleaning business. Then I started doing the being in that space. Um, I saw you interviewed one of my friends, Basani Cleaners. He actually was introduced by me into the industry in
Sure.
2018. So I started in 2017, and I saw there was a huge gap, and then he reached out to me, and then and for partnership, and I was like, no, my friend, you also have your own big following. You have people that believes in you. I think it's better if you take this by yourself, run with it, and I'll support you. I'll give you whatever you need, whatever information that you need, whatever uh, uh, well advice that you need. I'll make sure that I'm there for you. And then, I mean, he's definitely one of the biggest black-owned cleaning businesses now in Gauteng, which makes me proud. So that was 2017, 2018, then 2019, then 2018, 2016. Before I opened the cleaning business, I had an idea of now the Moja Chicken. Now we are coming to Moja Chicken. I had an idea of Moja Chicken in 2016, but I was so scared to start at that time because one, I didn't do enough research at that time. But then in 2017, that's when I started now doing a lot of research. Sorry, in terms of the industry and just entrepreneurship also. I started reading a lot online about a lot of things. Then 2018, that's when I decided to pay more attention into the Moja Chicken idea. It was just an idea. And then in late 2018, I started coming up with a whole lot of ideas. Okay, the plan was, which we'll get into it later on, brand introduction, brand positioning, brand awareness, and all of those things. How am I going to be different from everyone else? But if somebody would ask me why did I get into the chicken space? The answer is simple. South Africa is one of the biggest chicken consumers in the world. We actually come
Sure.
third, not fourth. I think there's Brazil, there's USA, there's South Africa, and then there's Thailand. Is it Thailand or Jamaica? Somewhere there. But we definitely on the top five, the biggest chicken consumers in the world. And here in South Africa, chicken is the most affordable meat product. So that alone, there's a huge market for that industry. There's a huge market for that product. But then obviously there will be other ways of now how do you now secure your own market within the industry or within the bigger market. So those are the things that I had to come and think of. Then 2018, 2019, I decided to quit my job. I had my 9 to 5. I was working for one of the biggest tobacco companies in South Africa and in the world. I was doing trade marketing there, which helped me a lot in terms of understanding marketing, branding, and all of that. And then 2019, that's when I decided to quit my job in April. Next month, I'm actually, it's going to be my third year now being fully self-employed. Then
Sure.
2019, September 28th, I opened the first Moja Chicken store in Soweto. Yeah.
Sure. Wow. Wow. What a journey. What a journey. Sure. It's amazing how you're talking about the fact that this thing was there in you even when you were a child. And I like the fact that you said it's not because you felt like being an entrepreneur. You know, there was a need, and you met that need by creating, that sort of business. And that's one thing that I think a lot of small businesses need to always remember when it comes to running a business or being an entrepreneur, is that when sometimes when you're in need, one of the best things you can do is find a place where you can solve a problem. And when you solve that problem, or you meet that particular need, you are able to then sustain yourself with that. I really love that. And I love the fact that since that time you were able to see a gap, from when you were 11 years old, and then now it comes to when you're starting Moja Chicken, and it's a similar thing, right? I mean, some of the things that you said to me right now I've never heard of before, about the South Africa being one of the biggest, or yeah, the largest chicken consumers in the world. And I feel like a lot of people, when they start their businesses, don't look into things like that. And I love the fact that you said, it's important. You emphasize a lot of things as you were, giving us your journey, that I picked up. I mean, we even saw them going across the screen here, that they're so important when it comes to building our brand. So no, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your journey, because sometimes it's in somebody else's journey that we get, some jewels and some lessons. So,
True.
thank you so much for that. So yeah, and I think, as you said, that you covered, the first question we had for you, which was, why or how did you start Moja Chicken? But I feel like it then leads us to the second question that I have for you today, and that is really, you spoke about the fact that a chicken is one of the largest or the most consumed things in the country, and therefore that's why there's so many chicken outlets out there. Especially when you look at a place like Soweto, there's so many places that are selling chicken. There's so many people that are doing that. So but when you came in, you found success in what would be called a saturated market. And now it leads me to this question of, how did you differentiate yourself? And in the same breath, how can other small businesses differentiate themselves when they're getting into a market that is saturated or that already has other people within it?
Yeah. So, well, you know, there are a lot of things that, well, I personally paid attention to when I was just gathering the whole information during my research about the industry and the food industry, restaurant industry, and all of that. There's something that a lot of people are not aware of. If you can look at so we have a simple thing. We have colors. What somebody would ask me a question: Why did you go for the name Moja Chicken? Why not Kasi Chicken or Africa Chicken or whatever? So for me, I looked at the South African market, and mainly the black market also, but then at the same time not forgetting the other market, the white people, the colored people, and the Indian community as well. Um, for me, it was very important to come up with a name that resonates with a lot of people. So, firstly, how I wanted to differentiate myself from the rest, I had to come up with a name that could definitely resonate with a lot of people and that could never be forgotten easily or be diluted when you're trying to sell the brand or to sell the name to the next person. Um, Moja means leke. Moja means sharp. Moja means delicious. Moja means awesome. Moja means amazing. So if you combine the two, it's an amazing chicken. It's an awesome chicken. It's a delicious chicken. It's a leke chicken. It's Moja Chicken. Moja is one of the biggest South African South African lingos that is used across the country. And you go to Devon, you could go to KZN, Mpumalanga, Northwest, anywhere in the country, they still pronounce the word the same way. You find a Venda speaking person, you find a Tswana speaking person, a Zulu speaking person, they would still pronounce the word Moja the same way. For me, that was very important because if you have a name that is difficult for people to be to pronounce that word easily, it's going to cost you a lot of money because now you need to spend a lot of money into now pushing or marketing that specific name. So for me, I had to go with a name that would be very easy for people to pronounce and also not to forget. That is why I went with Moja Chicken. So now, when you go Moja Chicken, how do you now tell people that you are selling chicken, you are selling grilled chicken? That's when now the slogan comes in: grilled Moja to feed Moja. Already, that tells you that, oh, so these people are selling grilled chicken. They are not repackaging chicken and reselling it. So already you've got an idea. We are a grilled chicken outlet. Now we come to colors. I had to go with orange. Um, I had to go with orange being the main color, only because um, orange is a very beautiful and unique color. You can go for, I promise you now, you're gonna start paying attention. You can go for 3 to 5 days without seeing somebody wearing an orange item.
Yeah.
Orange is for the brave. A lot of people don't go for orange, yet it's a very beautiful color. But a lot of people don't just wear orange. It's for the brave. It's very attractive. It's very demanding. It's very commanding. So for me, I had to go with orange. Now, when you come to the food industry, or the language of the food industry, the colors are very important in the food industry, because if you can just go on Google now and check this, orange is one of the biggest colors that stimulates appetite. So when somebody sees the color orange in a food outlet, it stimulates appetite for them already. So that on its own, it's a marketing tool. I had to go for such things. All those things I had to find about them during my research. Um, those are one of the things that I had to just make sure that I differentiate myself from the rest. And most importantly, obviously, our distinct signature sauce, which we started the sauce from the scratch. Me and my friend Lisejo, who is a professional chef. It took us 6 months to get it right, and then we took it to a reputable company to now manufacture for us in big bulk. So we had to make sure that we have our own authentic taste, which is different from other chicken outlets. And
Sure.
obviously the container setup was one of the marketing tool, and just to say, look, we can still eat in a container, or we can just sit on top of the container and have a chicken with friends.
Sure. Now that's so brilliant. Thank you so much for that. As you're talking, I'm getting all these powerful points. And just to reiterate, basically, you're saying, there's an importance with the name, there's an importance with the slogan, there's an importance with the color, there's an importance that your product or your service be, unique, such that people can actually relate with it. When they engage with this one, they must know that this one is unique. So you set yourself apart, basically, using all of these particular tools. And I really do like that, because sometimes we have this thing in our minds where we say, okay, somebody's doing this in Soweto, let me do this in Davidson, and that's all we want to do, and we wonder why it doesn't work, and we don't actually realize that there actually is this thing called building a brand. And I can definitely attest to what you're saying, because when I started to know about your brand, and I looked it up immediately when I saw your colors and when I saw the setup of the containers. In my head, I was just like, how much is this franchise? I even
Yeah.
went into your site, and I'm like, how much is it? Because it looked so good. There's so many. I mean, I passed by the street, I passed by so many chicken places, but I've never thought in my head that I would like a franchise. But there was just something about the uniqueness of your setup, and the colors and the way it looked so professional, that it makes sense to me why people want to buy and eat from there. It makes sense to me why people might want to get it as a franchise. And that's basically what we're trying to learn from you, in terms of how to build a brand. I mean, you've set up, you've given us a nice great foundation. Maybe if you can get a bit deeper into how basically you went from a business in 2019 that was just starting out, to a business in 2022 that already has about five franchises out there. How did you build your brand to that level? You've spoken about the fundamentals, which you did. You've got your colors, you've got your name, you've got your slogan. What's the next step? How do you now then take this information and get it in front of people's eyes, such that they now start relating with your brand?
Yeah. So I remember when we opened the store, the first store in Soweto. Um, I used to tell one of my friends that, Chief, I'm not building an outlet here. I'm building a brand. So for me, when I opened the first store, I had already known that I'm going to go into franchising. Um, um, so I had to get all the right documents ready. I had to get all the right system in place. By the time I opened the first one in Soweto, I was already 50-60% done with the whole franchise setup in terms of documents and the system. Because I knew that I wanted to go into the franchising space. So I think the most important thing is just get the right documents and get the right system in place. Obviously, if you are in the food industry, you need to have your own distinct signature sauce, signature spice, signature taste. You must have your own taste so that when somebody buys from Soweto and they go buy in Begersford or Palaboro at one of our outlets, the chicken tastes the same because of
Mm.
the product is the same. They all getting the product from the DC. They not buying the product from Ntokozo's wholesale and then Hlatshwayo cash and carry and whatever. They buying the sauce and spices from one space place. Basically, that's the most important thing. I mean, a simple thing like a gravy. We don't do our own gravy. If you go to Soweto, you taste our gravy, you go to Begersford or Palabora, it's still going to taste the same because even our gravy, we had to make sure that we manufacture our own gravy so that when you go to Soweto, Nkele has used a lot of spice or raja or salt, and then that side, Motlalipule has used a lot of raja and salt, and the consistency is not the same. So the most important thing is the consistency of the product. And of course, obviously, the consistency of the product that speaks to customers. But then, as a franchisor, the consistency of your product also speaks to your franchisees. The consistency of the system and the support. There has to be a support in place where you need to support all your franchisees so that you can grow bigger.
Sure. Wow. No, that's some good stuff. It's really eye opening when you think about the processes that actually do need to go into place for you to actually get to a place where you're successful. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we do have this show to sort of like open the eyes of entrepreneurs around the country as to some of the things that successful people like you have done in order to get to where you get to, so that we lose the notions that we had before of thinking, if I just do this, it will just work out, and actually have a list of things that we know, okay, these are the things that I need to do. These are the documents that I need to put together. This is the mindset and the mentality that I need to have. Because now, when you're saying what you're saying, I'm thinking that because you already knew from the get-go that you wanted to be a franchise, it guided everything. It guided the name of your store. It guided the colors you chose. It guided, the containers, and I hope that's, filtering through to our viewers, the fact that sometimes when you have an idea of where you need to go, it actually helps you develop in a way that you're doing things right now, but you know where you're getting to. And I really do love that. And I wanted to ask, still on this branding issue, that you spoke about the fact that you had a past in marketing. You're a marketing specialist in the tobacco company, and I'm sure you translated some of those skills into Moja Chicken for you to get to where you got to. And that's what I'm wondering now, when it does come to branding. What are some of the tools that are best used, or that an entrepreneur can use in order to promote their brand in an effective way? Now, I mean, we know there's social media, we know there's a website, we know there's pamphlets, there's so many different marketing avenues out there, and I'm sure some of them are more effective than others. And now I'm not asking necessarily when it comes to advertising or trying to get customers. I'm talking about like building a brand, something that people will see and associate with something. What are some of the best, whether it's social media or any sorts of marketing channels, that are best used in order to promote a brand?
Look, I think when it comes to marketing, branding and marketing, the first thing that you need to understand the 5 P's or the 7 P's of marketing. That will also drive you to understanding your brand and your offering and what you're going to offer your customers. Um, just to name a few from the 5 P's or 7 P's of marketing. um, um, the first one is being pricing. pricing is very important. You need to know as soon as you get into the industry, you need to do a lot of research about the pricing so that you don't find yourself uh, far out or far low. So you need to know where you position yourself in terms of pricing. That is very important because pricing is also a very big form of marketing and branding. Well, marketing, it's because some people they don't buy the actual product, but they just buy the price. So you need to make sure that you take into consideration that. And also the second P of marketing is product. And understand your product, be unique, be authentic, know your product and make sure that you are consistent with the product. If you need to spend money into making sure that you are consistent with the product, if you are in that space of you are in that position of us having a bit of money, at least do that. If not, if you don't have enough money, or if you don't have money, try to find other ways of making sure that you are consistent with your product. That is very important. The third one is people. That is now I'm talking now the piece of marketing. The third one is people. You need to understand your people. You need to understand your target market. You need to understand when you're talking about LSM 1 to 5 or LSM 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. Who are you targeting? Because that is very important. LSM living standard measures. You need to understand all of that. If you are within a community, you need to understand this is my target market. These are my people. So you need to know, because now one of the things that people do when they're doing a feasibility study, um, they look at the area and then they be like, yo, hey, Kwelabant, like, there's too many people here. That means I can, yeah, no, I'll definitely make profit here in this area. But then they also don't look at the disposable income of those people.
Sure.
Can those people afford your product, or can they afford anything? Because also taking into consideration the level of unemployment in South Africa is way too high. So you need to also consider those things. So you need to understand your people, know your LSM. The fourth one is promotion. Then this one will speak to advertising. What are the promotional tools are you going to use? Not forgetting that we still in South Africa, data is still very expensive. Not everyone affords Wi-Fi or data. So traditional marketing is still relevant. So a lot of people, they still believe that traditional marketing, we can all write traditional marketing off. We can't. Traditional marketing is still very much relevant. We're talking flyers, we're talking posters, we're talking street banners. We're talking radio. We're talking newspaper. We're talking, or should I just say print? That is traditional marketing. We're talking TV. That is traditional marketing. But obviously, the cheapest traditional marketing would be flyers and posters, and the street banners. Obviously, in the digital space, make use of it's still also affordable as compared to now going to TV and pay a lot of money that you don't have. Obviously, as small businesses, most of us, we have a very serious problem of cash flow. So you make use of what you have. There's TikTok now. Use TikTok for business. Don't just use TikTok for spending the whole day on repeating what other people are saying, being a clown on TikTok in the name of entertainment and whatever. But if you're an entrepreneur, rather use that space to sell your product. It's one of the biggest social media platforms at the moment: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can pay. There's YouTube also. So that speaks to promotion. And then the last one would be positioning, if not mistaken, would be positioning. You need to know how to position your brand within. the industry and within your community as well. Because now, if you don't just, if the food industry, it's not a generic approach business, because it works in Soweto, that doesn't mean it can work the same way in Beggarsford. Yes, it may still work in Beggarsford, but maybe you may need to use a different approach. For example, a lot of people in Beggarsford, they that is a village. They are on Facebook. So that means you'll have to use a lot of Facebook for your marketing, instead of Twitter and other platforms. Use TikTok. Everyone lately is now on TikTok, but Facebook and TikTok will definitely work for you. Instagram may not work for you. So you need to also understand the community that you trading from.
Phew. Wow. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. This is these are some of the things that people actually go to conferences to pay for. So thank you so much for teaching us that. Wow. So simple and breaking it down, and there's certain things that I picked up from that are so unique that I've never heard before. You spoke about the fact that pricing is actually, can be a marketing tool, and that just blew my mind because I never thought about that. That your price can actually be something you use to actually attract people, tell people more about your brand. And I really like what you were speaking about last in the fifth one, where you spoke about the importance of positioning, your business, your product, your brand within your particular community.
Yeah, and then
Understanding. Mm, mm.
yeah, and then sorry, just to chip in there quickly. And obviously, what marketing that does, there are different ways of marketing. There's psychological marketing. There's guerrilla marketing. There's digital marketing. There's traditional marketing. All of that. The psychological marketing goes back to pricing. A lot of people until today, well, not well, most people haven't asked themselves why, if you go to a specific shop, instead of paying 10 rand, you pay 9 rand 99. That is psychological marketing. That is
Phew.
pricing. It's a psychological marketing. It's not 10 rand, it's 9 rand 99, because we read from left to right, not from right to left. So one of the most powerful marketing tool, which most people haven't, I feel like they haven't exhausted that yet. It's the psychological marketing. Psychological marketing play, especially at this time, it plays a major role. If you know how to convince, or how to manipulate people, for lack of a better word, go psychological, because you can definitely make a lot of sales from just that element. That is why pricing is very, very much important, but also it also depends on how you use your pricing. If you say it's 9 rand 99, those now in the accounting space, the odd numbers makes more money than the actual numbers.
Phew. Wow. No. Sure, that's amazing. Psychological. And I like that, especially now. I feel like when you're looking at social media, right? And you look at, your TikTok and your Instagram, and you see they invoke a lot of emotion in people. People go onto Instagram or go onto TikTok, and the videos that get popular, the ones that invoke emotion, one that they have some sort of attachment to. I was told recently that, on LinkedIn specifically, people relate more to pictures of people doing something more than from traditional adverts, which is so interesting. And I guess it goes back to what you're saying, that people have a certain psychology, right? Sometimes when we create our products, I don't know, we think maybe we want to sell to someone. We assume everybody thinks like us. So we're
Yeah.
thinking, if I would buy it, then somebody else would buy it. And I feel like then it gets us into that trap where we're wondering, why aren't people buying it? I understand the value of the product, right? Because I attached to it, I built it. And I don't understand sometimes that other people don't have that same attachment to my product. And so what you're saying, I feel like it's so powerful that, if we can now get to a place where we're using things like social media and marketing to invoke certain emotions such that we connect to people, then we're getting closer to establishing that brand. brand.
Yeah, correct, correct.
Sure.
I mean, especially because this is the honest truth and the reality. Most small businesses don't have money, uh, but we can still make use of what we have. And trust me, social media this time could be your biggest marketing tool. I mean, I built Moja Chicken on social media. I mainly built Moja Chicken on social media. And um the type of marketing I was using in terms of could be words or video clips and all of that, but I was more focused on social media because that's all I could afford, and that's all I can afford. I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna pay 200,000 just to be on most people now. If now you're looking at another target market, people are not watching a live TV. People are watching catch ups and they skip adverts and all of that. So
Mm,
maybe you should also look into that. What's the point of taking an ad to TV, whereas people are just gonna just skip that app and the ad. Let me just go on social media where people will see that. Then you can actually pay Facebook to create a community for you. You get a certain reach. You get your you boost that post, and Facebook will do everything for you. They will send it to people. Have you ever noticed when you're on Facebook, there are those pages or adverts that just pops up now and then when you or on your timeline. Those are paid adverts, and they are very, very much affordable. Trust me, they are very
mm.
affordable. Facebook is not here to make millions and millions from one person. They want to make millions in volumes.
Phew, wow. This is so good. This is so good. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, I feel like we could go on all day with this because everything is like everything you're saying has like five elements to it. But you're already listening to you. I'm rethinking my business. I'm rethinking some failures that I did. Like if I had done this, I'm sure things would be different. But we're looking forward, and that's what this show is all about, to really help small businesses look forward with intent, with actual solid tried and tested knowledge that can actually translate into more sales or better branding for their businesses. And I really do thank you so much for your honesty and for your depth. This is what I was talking about, that every interview I see, it's like, I don't know, it's like you've got unlimited knowledge. But no, thank you so much for that. I think we can just go to the last question that we have for you today, which is, I mean, it's a bit more generic than the branding one, and that is really, if you could pick just three, okay, maybe for lack of time, maybe you can get into two truths or about business growth or business success that you could only live by. So if this is your business, you can only live by two truths about building a business and making it successful. What would those two truths or two tools or two lessons be, that you would that maybe you could share with us?
Wow. Um, Resilience and consistency.
Mm,
Um, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, they're not resilient enough, and this goes back to when you get into entrepreneurship, you need to. I feel like you need to also do self introspection. You need to understand yourself as a person. You need to understand not as an entrepreneur, but as a person. You need to understand yourself. Know your strength and your weaknesses, and understand how resilient you are as a person, because the reality is that is why most of us entrepreneurs, we share the same story. It's not the same experience, could not be the same experience, but at the end of the day, when you're listening to Letlhogonolo, and then you're listening to Untokozo, and you're listening to Macmillan, we all share the same stories, because we all go through the same experience. could not be at the same time or the same way, but we all go through the same experiences. So I feel like entrepreneurs, they need to be very, very much resilient. Because as a pap and place, entrepreneurship is not a snip up and place. It's very tough, and you need to read more, and you need to be consistent. If you are resilient, you need to be consistent with your resilience, and then you need to be consistent with whatever you are doing. If you using a specific marketing approach, be consistent with that. Your product, if you're selling a product, be consistent with that. Your service, if you are rendering services, be consistent with that. I feel like if you are consistent and you are resilient enough, don't even think about a profit, because most people, they get into business and they're already calculating profits. I mean, uh, you are most likely not to make money in the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, or until fifth year. You are most likely to make money after after 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, if you read the story of what is this the story of Take a Lot. uh the Take a Lot guys only started making money from last year.
Sure.
When they started the business, they were not making money. They were not even breaking even, but they were resilient enough, and they were very much consistent. Because when Take a Lot got into the business, a lot of us thought, I know, just scam. you know when Take a Lot got into the business, OLX was there, but OLX was not consistent enough in terms of security also. Mostly security, but Take a Lot was very much consistent with security and all of that, and they gave us hope, and they gave us trust. That is why now today they are at least making profit after how many years now. So consistency and resilience is very much important. Just don't calculate your profit before you even start the business. Just go into the business and know that it is going to be tough. You are gonna face a lot of challenges, but then just be resilient enough and consistent. Trust me, at the end of the day, you are gonna be on big screens and sharing your journey with a lot of people, and they will be inspired by that.
Oh wow, sure. Thank you so much for that. That is, that's so brilliant. Um, Everything like I don't know, this show. Every guest we've had, I don't know. It's like it's such a blessing. We've been receiving such special, such special information, and you've been pouring out your heart and teaching us things that I'm wondering. I mean, you go online, you do your searches, but sometimes it doesn't connect with you until you hear somebody you can relate with actually saying it, and you're saying things. I feel like you're condensing. That's what people need to understand. The show might be 40 minutes or 50 minutes talking with you, but actually you're condensing for us knowledge that you've acquired for so many years, and through experiences. You've had failures, you've made mistakes, and all the things that you're learning from that, you're condensing them and sharing them with us. And that is why it's so valuable. And I thank you so, so much. And I believe that our viewers also got so much. And then what I like about it is these are practical truths. These are things we can take and apply in our business today, immediately. And that's why I'm so, so thankful and so grateful for you. Today was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely business changing. We speak about life changing. This was business changing stuff that you shared with us. And I want to say thank you so, so much. We're about to let you go, but before that, maybe you can just tell us if how people can get a hold of you, where your restaurants are. Maybe someone might be wanting to go get a meal. Maybe you can tell us a bit about where we can get a hold of Moja Chicken. Then yeah, thank you.
Yeah. On social media platforms, it's Moja Chicken across all social media platforms. Um, Website is mojachicken.co.za. Our stores, there's Soweto, Sasolburg, Beresford in Limpopo, Palaboro in Limpopo, Elukwatini in Mpumalanga, Kagiso in Johannesburg, Kokstad in the KZN, and Kimberley in the Northern Cape Province. And we also opening our very first store very soon. It's gonna be our flagship store, which we're gonna be opening in the upmarket suburb area in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, in Greenside, to be precise. In Greenside, we are gonna be opening a store there. That's gonna be our flagship store. Yeah, so people can just follow us on all social media platforms. It's Moja Chicken.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. And I would encourage all of our viewers to go. If you've got a Moja Chicken near where you are, please do go and support him. You see how he's just opened up his heart to help our businesses. One of the best things we can do is go and support and tell other people about it. Also help promote the things that he posts on social media so that we can actually build this community of entrepreneurs. The ones that have gone before us can come down and help us out. And we also, in turn, just help them out the best way that we can. So yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Letlhogonolo. It's been wonderful. It's been awesome. We respect you. We're thankful for you. Thank you for flying the flag high, for our people, for entrepreneurs around the country. And we wish you all the best. Until next time, we want to say bye, sir.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu Baba Hlatshwayo. Ngiyabonga ube nosuku oluhle.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Thank you.
All right. That was Letlhogonolo Motseeng teaching us about practical ways on how we can build our brands such that they become trusted brands and attractive brands. Absolutely amazing stuff. I know I'm going to apply it to my business and I'm sure it's going to have a great impact. I really hope you enjoyed that segment. So we're about to move on to the next segment of the show, and that is Pro You, where we profile 10 of your businesses right here for free. So get ready for that. Before we get there, if you are still with us, please do make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel if you're watching us from YouTube, and keep the comments coming if you're watching us from either platform. That will be wonderful and great. Would really like to know, hear from you concerning the show and how things are going. But yes, let us now move on to the next segment of the show. Get ready for Pro You. All right, as part of Pro You, we've got 10 new companies to promote for today, starting with Supply Chain Academy that offers core services, and that is business education and training based in Pietermaritzburg. Then we've got Revubit online selling products, and that's stem cell products in Johannesburg. Then we have RR Logistics. They have a service, and that is assorted logistics based in Soweto. Then we have Nucleo offering a core service, and that is digital marketing in Johannesburg. And then we have Decemo Products, Pty Ltd, and they offer a service, and their service is home improvement, and they're based in Vosloorus. Then we have Smarty Creative, and they offer a service, and that is branding based in the Vaal. Then we have Dwala Property Consultants, and they offer a service that's property consulting in Johannesburg. Then we have DGTL Vibes. They offer a service, and they're an internet service provider in Centurion. Then we have Andisani Cleaning Services offering cleaning services in Midrand. Then we have Zikali Mapisa Attorneys offering a core service, and that service is legal services, and they are based in Johannesburg. So that is the 10 businesses that we have for today. If you are near them and you might need their services, please make sure you contact them. That's why we give you their contact details, because we are building an ecosystem where we help one another out and grow together. And part of that is buying products from one another. So please do so, and let's keep growing together. That is all we have for today. Unfortunately, we don't have time for the filigree plug section. We will come back with it next week, though, where we plug you into new opportunities for your business. But that is all we have for today. I hope you had a wonderful time with Letlhogonolo, learning how to grow the brand of your business in order for you to reach more customers and grow your business. And I hope you just enjoyed the whole show, and that you'll stay with us as we keep on growing. That's all we have for today. I'm Ntokozo Hlatshwayo. Till next time, keep busy, keep pushing, and I wish you all the success for your business.